Sam Bradford had a strong debut in Minnesota, also the debut of their new $1.1 billion stadium. He completed 22 of 30 passes for 286 yards, 2 TDs, and no turnovers to lead the Vikings to a 17-14 victory over the Pack on Sunday night. The defense did the rest, sacking Aaron Rodgers 5 times and producing 2 turnovers in the fourth. Adrian Peterson, however, limped off in the third quarter with a right knee injury and had only 19 yards on 12 carries, but the Vikings are still 2-0, so they are okay. And we welcome Ryan Clark into the house. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, it's good to be here. I didn't want you to be alone.
Thank you.
For the whole show.
I appreciate that. I need a friend here, some support.
I know you got to hold it down here.
I do.
We're so touched by your generosity and sincerity, Ryan Clark.
Hey,
we're so touched. It's very, very nice of you.
This show, I'm like the third guy on this show, so I feel like when you guys can't be here, I got to hold it down for y'all.
Okay.
Well, it's just friendship.
Is that how you feel?
Well, you are holding it down. You are holding it down today. Your suit is not as loud as it usually is. So I am very, very impressed with how you're looking.
I love coming on here because you always say something about my suit. Because you feel threatened, and that's okay.
Yes.
I understand you're the style, the style guy on this show, and when Max is here, Max is kind of understated, Ivy League guy, and so you get a little nervous when I come on. It's okay.
Whatever. Let's move on.
All truth. Ryan, I would love to just chat with you, but I need to bring it back to Stephen A. here. Stephen A., what happened last night in that game?
Green Bay doesn't look like itself. That's what it comes down to. Aaron Rodgers does not look like Aaron Rodgers. I think it's assisted by the fact that the offensive line hasn't been that great. Eddie Lacy isn't running the ball that effectively. Only had like 50 yards on 12 carries last night. Only had one good 13-yard run outside of that. That basically means 11 carries for what is it, for 37 yards. That's nothing to write home about. Jordy Nelson, even though he's back, caught a touchdown pass, doesn't look like himself in terms of his speed, his ability to separate from corners, gain separation and make things happen. And the Randall Cobbs of the world and others need to step up as well. This Green Bay Packers team with Mike McCarthy back calling plays for things, which is supposed to be an upgrade. There are some things that have to happen. I mean, I saw a 4th-and-1 situation in the red zone that Mike McCarthy decided to go for. How in the hell are you giving the ball to Eddie Lacy when Aaron Rodgers is your man? You don't put the ball in Eddie Lacy's hands in that situation, which ultimately they ended up getting stopped on. You find a way to do it. Had they kicked the field goal, it had a tie game, and obviously, Minnesota wouldn't have been able to gain separation once Green Bay tied the score. You're talking overtime, or anything could have happened. I think, foiling that opportunity hurts them. Minnesota is no joke. Zimmer can coach. They're tough. Stephon Diggs put on a show. We all got that. And so does Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford outplayed Aaron Rodgers. But I do think that it was a product more so of what Green Bay isn't as opposed to what Minnesota is. We know that Minnesota is good. We know that Minnesota is tough. Before Adrian Peterson had just 19 yards on 12 carries, or before he got hurt, he had that going on. All of those things being said, I still believe that Green Bay can be better. I know for a fact Aaron Rodgers, 20 for 36, 213 yards. Those are Jay Cutler type numbers or something, for crying out loud. I need better than that from this bad man that is Aaron Rodgers. He damn sure need to be better and get better. But he's a bad man for a reason. This is an aberration. It is not the norm. And I suspect that a game like this is going to tick him off, and Aaron Rodgers will show up and make amends for his pedestrian performance.
Stephen A., how is it that you could talk for 5 straight minutes and miss the point like that? You just kind of skim over the main point of the whole situation. Mike Zimmer
Did you just disrespect me like that?
Mike Zimmer is in Minnesota.
You've been on the wrong side of right all day.
All day. Zimmer is in Minnesota because he is an Aaron Rodgers stopper. The way some teams would try to get a Kobe stopper back in the day, Zimmer is an Aaron Rodgers stopper. That's what he is there for, because you look around, you look at the different, what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to get through those guys. Who's the best guy we can find to neutralize Aaron Rodgers, turn him, as you just said, from the greatest quarterback. I mean, by the time his career is over, he's going to be in the greatest quarterback ever argument and might even win it. He is that great.
Stop it right there.
He is that great. But how are we going to turn him into a an average quarterback or something less than the greatest quarterback ever. And that's how you do it. His defense confuses Aaron Rodgers. It's been effective against Aaron Rodgers. And really, the Minnesota defense is effective against everyone, which is why yards per game, 5th. Points allowed, 5th. Defensive points per game. How much the defense scores? 2nd in the NFL. So you got an excellent defense to begin with, but one that is specifically designed to stop that guy. And like back in the day, what are we going to do about Shaquille O'Neal? Boy, we better get some centers who can give him some fouls and play defense. That is literally the game plan from Minnesota's point of view. Stop that guy, and they hired a guy who's good at doing it. That's all that was yesterday.
Now, see, this is why they bring me on to the show. Because, Max, you're saying Stephen A's wrong. Then you come up and you're not necessarily right either.
Thank you.
So you talk about...
As long as I'm not right, huh, Stephen A?
You talk about Shaq stoppers. You talk about people getting a Kobe stopper. And Stephen A's a basketball guy, so I know he knows this. You don't stop guys like Shaq. You don't stop guys like Kobe. They just miss. That's all that happens. When they have bad games, it's because they miss.
They miss because you put them in position to take a lower percentage shot.
Don't interrupt him, Max.
How many times have we seen Kobe with Shane Battier putting his hand in his face and he can't even see the goal and he's hitting bottom?
Right.
When he doesn't score, he just misses. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is just missing. When you read the stat lines, both of you guys have talked about what Sam Bradford was able to do. You talked about Aaron Rodgers' stat line. If I tell you before the game, those are the 2 stat lines of the starting quarterbacks, you couldn't figure out which one it was because you would think that Aaron Rodgers had the 121 QBR. When you look at this game, things started to change when Jordy Nelson went out last year. We can no longer take the top off the defense if we're Green Bay. We can't back guys up. The fake zone play to the strong side, boot Aaron Rodgers out for the deep post to Jordy Nelson, doesn't work anymore because Jordy Nelson can't create that separation. Now Randall Cobb can't work underneath. And let's not talk about the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers who haven't blocked a soul yet. So what do you get when the game's on the line? Trey Waynes has been all over Jordy Nelson all day. He's all over Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers actually has a clean pocket. There's no one around his feet. He doesn't have to scramble. All he has to do is throw the ball to the spot near the sideline and give Devontae Adams an opportunity to catch it. He aims the ball because things aren't going right. There were 3 fumbles. This game should have been a blowout. We have guys on Minnesota who can't pick up fumbles, and then when they pick it up, they're getting them stripped by Randall Cobb. When you look at this game, the big part of it is Jordy Nelson's inability to separate, Aaron Rodgers beginning to not believe that he's the bad man that we all know he is, and then you think about Stephon Diggs. Sam Shields, who's the #1 cornerback for the Green Bay Packers. He's the highest paid defensive back on that team. He's also the only Pro Bowler on that team as a corner, isn't playing. The Green Bay Packers are a matchup defense as far as cornerback play goes. They give guys assignments of people who are comparable to their talents and to their positive and negative characteristics. You got Demarius Randall on Stephon Diggs, and he couldn't hold him all night.
Hold on, Ryan. Yeah. Go ahead, Stephen A.
Hold on, Max. Ryan, with that nice little eloquent soliloquy that you just put out there, essentially what you just said was Stephen A. was right about Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Stephen A. was right about the offensive line. Stephen A. was right about Jordy Nelson. Stephen A. was right about Eddie Lacy. Stephen A. was right about Stephon Diggs. Okay, you pointed. Right. All I'm saying to y'all is this: when you win it, as beautiful and as cute and as eloquent as that sounded, okay, you were more mellow than I was. Mm-hmm. You weren't as emotional as I was, but you echoed facts that I had thrown out, and I thank you for it.
Let me school you 2 fools on this topic. Are you kidding me, Ryan? You really are going to sit there and say Aaron Rodgers just misses just like Kobe Bryant just misses? Battier could have a hand in his face and Kobe can still sink it? Yes, Kobe Bryant's one of the greatest ever. He could hit very tough shots. Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest ever. He can make very tough plays. But that doesn't mean that if you're playing them defensively, you don't try to force them to do it. You think it's coincidence that Aaron Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well against Mike Zimmer defenses, that's just a coincidence. You lower the odds that he's going to make the play by making it tough for him. In Zimmer's case, bringing the linebackers up, disguising things, all that kind of stuff. It works against him. Does it turn Aaron Rodgers into a bum? No, you can't do that. He's too great. But it certainly lowers his effectiveness, just like someone like Battier, even if Kobe hits the game winner against him, does the best job you can against him.
Max, first of all, you're losing credibility with each pass a second when you mention Kobe Bryant and Shane Battier in the same sentence. You almost need to get your basketball card stripped, and I love Shane Battier.
Clark brought it up, and he's referencing the Michael Lewis article.
No. He brought it up to make an example that augmented my argument, not to refute it like you are foolishly trying to do. That is number one. Number two, Max. Hold on. Number two, Max. From last season to last night, Aaron Rodgers hasn't had his number one weapon, and Eddie Lacy, who has had successful games against the Minnesota Vikings, by the way, wasn't successful last night. Then the offensive line wasn't successful. I don't care how great you are as a quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers was not great last night. But guys got to get open. I was saying this all last year.
Stephen A, you look at his passer rating, you look at his QBR against all other teams, and then compare it to Mike Zimmer's Vikings, it goes down.
Mike Zimmer is a great defensive coach, period. Played against him a ton of time when he was tons of times in Cincinnati. This is what defenses are supposed to do. In a league where you can't touch the quarterback, in a league where you can't touch the wide receivers, defenses are built to find ways to stop quarterbacks because the NFL is built to make them excel. So this is not a novelty or an epiphany that Mike Zimmer's defenses are built to stop quarterbacks. What I'm saying is, with Aaron Rodgers, it's not necessarily about the fact that he is being stopped. He's able to get out of the pocket. He's able to make plays. You look at the Jacksonville game, there's a play where the defender is draped over his back, pulling his shirt down. Devon House has great coverage, and he still makes the throws.
Yesterday, he made that run into the end zone, danced around. He's amazing. He can do things no one else can do.
So what I'm saying is, Aaron Rodgers has to get Green Bay straight. It's not about what Minnesota does. Has Minnesota played extremely well this year? They have. They played Tennessee, who we now know isn't very good offensively, even though they were able to pull out a win yesterday. We looked at the Jacksonville game for Green Bay, and we said to ourselves, hey, Jacksonville must be pretty good. It was a very close game against Green Bay. We watched Jacksonville yesterday, and they're terrible. And so it shows that Green Bay isn't the team that we've expected them to be this year. You look at Aaron Rodgers' numbers last year, 31 TDs, 8 interceptions. That's good for somebody else. Has his lowest completion rating. Doesn't take the top off the defense. The average yard per pass is not huge. The leading receiver doesn't even have 900 yards total. This team has to find itself in Green Bay. It doesn't matter who they're playing against until you can protect him, until you can create separation, until you can get a consistent running game, not one that's give and go depending on what team you're playing. Aaron Rodgers can't be effective. Is he a bad man? Yes. Can he make throws that no one else can make? Yes, but this is the ultimate team sport. It's not like LeBron, where whatever team he goes to has a chance to go to the championship.
But Ryan, just so I'm clear, but he does worse against Mike Zimmer than the other coaches, right?
He did worse last night.
Oh, okay. And last year and the year before, whatever Mike Zimmer's coaching the other side is harder for him.
He wasn't even there the year before that.
If you look at Aaron Rodgers' play against Zimmer, it's not as good against other teams. It goes down. By the way, is the same true for Mariota? Week 1, did he look as good as week 2? No. All right. You can lead a horse to water. That's all I can say.
Hey, but you can't make him think.
You ain't doing a damn good job of it, I'll tell you that much.
You can't make him drink, but we're making things up over here. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers had a QBR 52.5, 21st amongst quarterbacks. Not too good. You know who had the best QBR this week and this season?
Who's that?
That belongs to Jimmy G, lighting up the Dolphins defense, but then goes down with a shoulder injury. So with Tom Terrific returning in Week 5, should New England trade their star backup? Don't miss that discussion. Ryan, thank you. You'll be back later.